Hi, welcome to today's brief book review. The book we're looking at today is called The Blackbird by Tim Weaver. I reviewed the previous two Tim Weaver books on the Brief Book Reviews channel. Previously, the last book was a series of 4 short stories called The Shadow at the Door, which involved David Raker, a missing persons investigator, or related to David Raker. One previous to that was called Missing Pieces, which was a standalone missing persons book. This, however, is a return to a full-length David Raker Missing Persons Investigator novel, and it's another really good book from Mr. Weaver. Released in the UK in June 2022. So what happens in this one, Cliff, I can hear you saying? Well, our story begins with a married couple called Kate and Aidan Gascoigne. They're travelling on the Land Rover down a hill near their home, and suddenly their Land Rover leaves the road, tumbles down a 90-foot ravine and bursts into a ball of flames. 2 independent witnesses say they see the accident and nobody got out of the burning inferno. The fire crews and the police arrive swiftly, and upon investigation, there's one thing that's slightly worrying them. There's no sign of Kate or Aidan. Kate and Aidan have somehow escaped in a blazing inferno and disappeared. This interlude is referred to by locals as the mystery of Gatton Hill. 2.5 years later, nobody's found Kate or Aidan. Nobody knows. The police investigations have ground to a halt, and clearly the families of the 2 people involved are concerned. So when things like this happens, what are you going to do? You're going to call David Raker, missing persons investigator, and that's exactly what happens. Kate's parents call David, explain the mystery of Gatton Hill, explain that they need to know what happened to their daughter. David Raker looks at the case and accepts the case and tells them that he will find out what's happened to their daughter. So Raker takes on the case and begins to work. He contacts his hacker mate Spike, gets their call records for the last 3 months, and begins to look at Kate and Aidan's background, their work colleagues, their friends, what they've been up to, what they've been working on, and trying to find a reason for this disappearance, this event that nobody can explain. As Raker begins his investigation, he notices a few anomalies, a few things that have perhaps been missed by the police, and sure enough, after a while he begins to realise that there's more to this than meets the eye. And during his investigations, he notes that there appears to be a connection between this mysterious accident and 3 murders in Northumbria, which happened 30 years ago. Worse still, the 3 murders may not be unique. There may be other murders, and murders by persons or persons unknown. And hence the tale begins. The Weaver uses his usual construct in his book where the main narrative is interspersed with italicized chapters which actually form a backstory, and eventually those 2 stories obviously converge. As Raker gets nearer and nearer to finding out what's happened with this accident, then clearly he's in more danger, and the tale unfolds to a fairly gripping finale, which clearly I don't want to divulge. Suffice to say, it's another really good David Raker missing persons investigator tale. Lots of twists and turns, keeps you hooked to the very end of the book, and absolute great read. Really enjoyed it. We also include David Raker, a regular Colm Healy. There's a side story with him involved, and I think for Raker fans, they will really enjoy this book. For people that just want to read a good thriller, I'd recommend it. Once the missing persons case is concluded, there's a couple of things that make Raker fans want to look forward to the next Raker book. There's a connection to a previous Tim Weaver story, and there's also a cliffhanger involving a Raker regular. Raker fans will have enjoyed this book and will certainly be looking forward to the next David Raker story. I really enjoyed the book. I read it in 2 afternoons, but I'm a David Raker fan, I have to admit, fair play. I'd give it 9 out of 10. I think this is Tim Weaver at the top of his game, a really good author, a really good read. you want to get engaged with the character, you want to know what's happening to David Raker, and I'm looking forward to the next David Raker story. So, as I said, I'd give it 9 out of 10. That's it for today's brief book review. I hope you enjoyed it. 10/10 till we do it again.